On Wednesday, we did a lab where we calculated friction using our surface board. So you should have this paper posted for you to look over, and I'm going to walk you through really quick what we did, and then I put our data in a Google Sheets, and all we need to do is have you take the data that we put in there and just do the calculations and answer the questions at the bottom. So what we did with our force board is we had different surfaces. We had a cardboard surface, a cork surface, we had, turn this around. We had kind of a sandpaper surface and then a rubber surface. And we pulled a block across that surface with different weights. We had a 200 weight, we had a 100, and then we combined the two for a 300 gram weight mass. And so the first thing that we needed to do is take this mass, the 90 grams for the block and the 200 in this case for the little mass right here, add them together and convert them into weight with our formula W equals mg. Then we took our spring scales and we used them to pull this contraption across, and we measured how much force it took not only to get the block to move, but how much force it took to keep the block moving at a steady velocity across the surface. So you have in your sheets that I've put up for you, you have the data that we took with the spring scale, and all we needed to do is with the weight of our contraption, we did it on a flat surface, so opposite of our weight should be the normal force, and then the force that it took to pull is going to be balanced out by the force of friction. So with that force of friction and that normal force, use our fun formula to find the coefficient of friction for each of our four surfaces. Okay, so that's the first lab that we did. Now the second one was a little bit trickier to explain. So that's why I'm making this video, is to explain this resolving force vectors. We have, in class, we were using a force table, which I posted pictures. Imagine that this is like the aerial photo of our force table, and we had different strings going in different directions with weights hanging off of the strings, and we were trying to find the missing piece of our puzzle, that missing force, that would balance it out, that would put it in equilibrium. So what I had them do is to pick 3 different random masses, and so they might have picked maybe 120 grams, which would be 0.12 kilograms. They may have picked, I don't know, some picked 150, which would be 0.15. Some picked 110, which would be 0.11. And then we had to take those weights, or those masses in kilograms, turn it into weight by multiplying by 9.8. Okay? Then I had them just come up with an angle, any angle, between 0 and 90, maybe they used 60. Between 90 and 180, maybe they used 150. And between 180 and 270, I don't know, 240. And I got my colors backwards, but just work with me here. Okay, so once we had those weights, this one was 1.176. This one was 1.47. And this one was 1.078. Okay. Once we had these weights, then we could separate them into our horizontal and vertical components. For horizontal, we use the cosine. So 1.176 times the cosine of our angle gave us our horizontal component. For vertical, we use the sine. So 1.176 times the sine of our angle gave us the vertical component. Okay, so please do this. Make sure you just use any numbers that you want to in here, anything over 100 grams, but less than, say, 500 grams, like 120, 220, 250, whatever you want to use. Convert those into weight, just like we just did. Scoot that decimal over so it's kilograms, and then multiply by 9.8. Pick any angle, one from each quadrant, and then separate it into your horizontal and vertical components. Now, by the direction, what I mean is for these horizontal components, are they pulling this way towards 0, or are they pulling this way towards 180? So for this vector that's going towards 60 degrees, it's headed towards 0 degrees horizontally and towards 90 degrees vertically. Okay? For the 150, we would be going towards 180 and 90. And then for the 240, we're going towards 180 and 270. Okay? So to find the net horizontal and vertical component, you'll notice that some of these are going in the same direction. For instance, the blue and the purple are both pulling towards 180. If they're going the same direction, you would add them up. The ones going in the opposite direction, you would subtract out. So we'll get a net horizontal component and do the same with our vertical. These two are going the same, they're going towards 90, so they'll get combined. And then we'll cancel those out with this purple one going the opposite direction. So we'll come up with our net vertical. And again, the direction just is basically who won. Was this measurement bigger than this measurement? Are we headed up or are we headed down with our vertical? Okay. So you'll probably find at the end, depending on where you set your angles, of course, but you'll find that you have a net vertical component and a net horizontal component. Okay. So for this net force, you're going to use your Pythagorean theorem to find, with this being your A and your B, to find out what that net force is when you combine the two angles. And then for direction, you want to use your inverse tangent of your opposite over your adjacent to find that angle. And think about that triangle. If mine is going here like this, then I've found this angle in here somewhere. That means I'm going to take 180 minus that angle. Okay, so look at where your triangle ends up, if it's going up or down, left or right, and think about on your coordinate plane where that angle that you're finding ends up. Okay, so that's going to be the net force, all of your forces combining together to pull together in one direction. Now, in order to balance that out, we're going to have to put our equilibrium force in a place where we can create balance. So if we're all pulling this way, we're all going that way when we combine ourselves together, whatever that net force may be, then in order to balance that, we've got to go equal and opposite. So whatever number you find for this direction, add 180 to get the other direction to set it at equilibrium. Okay, so that's how you do this one. Again, be creative with these. If you want to use my numbers, you can, or if you want to come up with your own numbers, that's fine. But be creative with these and then break them down into the horizontal and vertical components. Make yourself a triangle and then find what net force and direction they're all pulling and how you would set that, how you would balance it going the other direction. Okay? If you have additional questions, please contact me. Hopefully this will give you a good start on those labs, and I will talk to you again soon.